A demonstrator throws back a tear gas container after police tried to break up a protest in Suburban Street. Lewis, Ferguson, has been the scene of unrest since 18-year-old Michael Brown was fatally shot there during a confrontation with a policeman. Smoke fills the nighttime air during a clash between police and protesters in Ferguson. Police and protesters face off on West Florissant Avenue in Ferguson. A man prepares to toss a Molotov cocktail as a line of police advances in the distance in Ferguson. Authorities in the street Lewis suburb have used tear gas to disperse demonstrations in protest of the police shooting of an unarmed young black man. Protesters raise their hands in front of police atop an armed vehicle in Ferguson, a gesture many have used as a symbol of defiance. A police officer watches over demonstrators protesting the shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson. Police in riot gear stand ready during a protest in Ferguson. A demonstrator pleads with another to walk away after being ordered off a street by police in Ferguson. As riot police stand by, a child's hands are held in the air, a symbol of defiance among protesters since the death of Michael Brown. A protest march by supporters of Michael Brown moves along a Ferguson street. Demonstrators protesting the killing of Michael Brown rally in street. Lewis, Michael Brown's distraught grandmother, Texas Iria Harris, is helped out of a church in Jennings, at a press conference at the Jennings Mason Temple Church of God in Christ. Police wearing riot gear walk toward a man with his hands raised in Ferguson. Authorities have made several arrests in Ferguson, where crowds have looted and burned stores, vandalized vehicles and taunted police after a vigil for an unarmed black man who was killed by police. Demonstrators acknowledged the honks of passing cars as they demonstrated in front of the Quick Trip in Ferguson that was burned during weekend rioting. People scatter as police officers fire tear gas Monday in Ferguson. Stephen Hampton uses police tape as he demonstrates in front of the burned Quick Trip in Ferguson. Police line up in riot gear neath the burnout Quick Trip on Monday night in Ferguson. Demonstrators in Ferguson scatter Monday night after police fired tear gas. Officers arrest a man who they said refused to leave when police in riot gear cleared the area in downtown Ferguson. Leslie McSpadden, mother of slain 18-year-old Michael Brown, speaks during a news conference at Jennings Mason Temple Church of God in Christ in Jennings. Riot police line up in Ferguson. In a cell phone image, protesters march in downtown Ferguson. On Monday, the group marched along the closed street, rallying in front of the town's police headquarters to protest the shooting of unarmed 18-year-old Michael Brown by a Ferguson police officer on Saturday. Passers-by and media look Monday at the burned-out shell of the Quick Trip gas station torched during violence that erupted in Ferguson overnight Sunday following a candlelight memorial for shooting victim Michael Brown. Cleanup begins Monday after a night of unrest following a candlelight vigil for shooting victim Michael Brown left broken glass and burned stores in Ferguson. A man leaves with a bag of goods taken from a convenience store in Ferguson after a vigil for Michael Brown, 18, killed in an officer-involved shooting. Megan O'Donnell prays at the spot where Michael Brown was killed Sunday evening in Ferguson. Police face off with demonstrators in Ferguson after the fatal shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown. A man leaves a looted store in Ferguson, a convenience store in Suburban Street. Lewis is looted after a vigil for 18-year-old Michael Brown, who was shot and killed by a Ferguson police officer. People flee a convenience store in Ferguson after a few thousand people attended the vigil for 18-year-old Michael Brown, who was shot and killed by a police officer. A crowd gathers at a candlelight vigil for Michael Brown, a teenager who was shot multiple times by a street Lewis police officer Saturday. Protesters beat on the side of a police car